Hi there. Right, so this is chapter 10, and I'm going to sort of do this in two parts as well, looking at the sales ledger control account and the purchase ledger control account. But just some groundwork, some basics to sort of go through. I mean, the longer video, the normal class video is quite extensive on this, but this is just a booster, of course. So what are we talking about here? We are saying that when we start again, this is talking about control accounts, but let's just talk about the origin. So we have our source documents. We know this, quite happy with that. Source documents, the information comes in. When I say source documents, I talk about invoices, receipts, credit notes, blah, blah, blah. All those little things come into our system, into the different subsidiary books. Remember, no double entry has actually happened just yet. We're just writing out nice lists. So we have our sales day book, our purchases day book, our sales returns day book, our cash book, our purchases returns day book, and our general journal. Now, let's just take the sales day book very quickly. And this is all we're saying. We're saying that you have, I've done this a few times, ABC, and let's just say we have 100, 200, and 300. So these are invoices, right? These are invoices that you generate and send through to your clients or to your customers, sort of telling them that they owe you. You've sent them the goods, they're happy with the goods, then you send them invoices. So the total of all of this, if you like, is £600. This is where the double entry now starts, after this. So we've done this, and we're happy with this. We're like, okay, now let's do the double entry. So the double entry says, well, oops, sorry. Now, oh, right, it's all happening at once. Well, so fundamentally, if you know with the double entry, the reason why preparing the double entry is to prepare the accounts. We're trying to arrive at the final statements, the income statement and the statement of financial, or the statement of profit or loss and the statement of financial position. So what am I saying? I take this figure here of 600 and I literally do what it is that I need to do to satisfy my accounting equation. Well, and we have E and we have I, and I've said that, well, if I occurs, A also goes up. So when A goes up, well, if income goes up, asset goes up. And what is the asset in question here? Trade receivable, also known as the sales ledger control account. And this is sales or revenue, right? This is the I over here. This is I. So we set that 600 here and 600 here. This is the double entry. So you don't need to cram or start trying to remember. Just go back to the equation and see what we're trying to say. So if this goes up, we're also saying that this has gone up as well. And then what do we say? This thing here is what we're talking about in this chapter. Now, it's all well and good to be preparing the final account, but what happens in the very day-to-day events of this business? They must be chasing up these individuals and know, they would like to know exactly what's going on in these accounts. So everything I've just talked about here, forgive me, all this information, the double entry happens here in the general ledger. I've mentioned several times, just think of it as a roof. It's just a roof. But this roof is just showing the accounts we need to prepare the E's and A's and C's and L's and I's. Now, again, if I did need to know what was going on individually, which I do, if you like, it's not just as management accountants. I mean, this is, management accountants need to know, if you like, whether or not you want, let me just use the phrase, to manage your accounts. You want to know what's going on the day-to-day basis of running that business. And so we have another ledger. We have two other ledgers, actually, also known as the receivables ledger. And I mean, I think this is a better name for a receivables ledger. And it's pretty much saying, well, let's just see what's going on in these people who owe us money. Let's just look at their individual accounts. So we have A, and we have B, and we have C. And that's that 600 right there broken up into these people. So that's 100, and that's 200, and that's 300. So we can see straight away that all we're saying is, now, let me be clear. This is the double entry. This is the double entry going on right here. This is not the double entry, right? This is a breakdown of this. This is why this is called the sales ledger. This used to be called the sales ledger. It was just the sales ledger. When I say it was just, it's not I, it's A. It's the asset of A. We just called it the sales ledger. So the reason it's called the sales ledger control account, you can remove the word C and put totals. Sales ledger totals account, it's a total, isn't it? So when I say total, think whatever's on this side is totaled up on this side. Whatever on this side, whatever would end up on this side would be totaled up on this side. So you can see this is where we're really going with this argument. Of course, this is all this is a net situation. When I say a net situation, imagine this had been a gross situation. Then what I would have done is, let me just get my calculator to divide 600 by 1.2. Okay, yes, of course, that would have been 5. If technically, if this was a gross situation, you would have had something that if this was a gross situation, you'd have had VAT, right? And you would have had, instead of 600 here, you would have had 500 here, and you'd have had 100 here. Remember, we've done VAT. I mean, it's just a breakup, right? The only thing that can actually go in your income statement, of course, if you like, in your income statement, is the net figures, because that's all that's due to you. Here, you're just keeping this for the government. But this doesn't change, of course. This works. This matches this. Right? Okay, I'm going to stop the video there, and then in the next part, I'm going to then expand this. But now that you understand the theory, this could be applied, of course, to the purchases as well, right? And in the next video, I'll then discuss the rest of the things we would see in the sales ledger control account. Okay, great stuff. See you then.